So one of the things I want to talk to you about today are the yield assessment on well reports or well logs. Depends on who you talk to, what they're called. The well logs are a document that is supposed to be completed. Most states and even most countries require some form of well report to detail out what the driller did. It includes things like the type of drilling system used, the size of the hole, borehole, the casing used, if any, the screens used, the filter pack, the lithology, which is the layering of the material that they drilled through. They're supposed to keep good notes of that. You know, that type of thing. Whenever they encountered water, if they knew what they encountered. And again, depending on the drilling system, that'll be clear, somewhat clear, or somewhat unclear. Depends on the notes and the experience of the driller. The yield is also supposed to be captured. Unfortunately, the mechanism to which a drilling contractor uses to assess yield is not accurate by and large. Unless they put a pump in the well and run a fairly long-term 4 to 8 hour pump test, the yield assessment that they complete is absolutely not accurate. What they do is they leave the drill stem, which is the drill pipe, down in the hole all the way to the bottom, typically if it's an air rotary rig, and they'll blow a bubble of air down there, and as that air lifts the water up, the bubble comes up the hole, the water comes surging up the hole and comes to the outflow pipe off the drilling setup, and it rushes out there, and they hypothetically remove all the water, and then they let it set for, say, 15 minutes or so, and then they'll do that again, and they just do some simple math and get some rough estimate of what amount of water they're getting per minute. Typically they're measured in either gallons per minute or liters per second, depending on what part of the world you're in. Unfortunately, those estimates are rarely better than 50% accurate. Sometimes they luck out and get it pretty close, but by and large, probably 9 out of 10 times, it's absolutely not accurate. If you're using a rig that has a baler, they'll drop a big tube with a valve at the bottom, and they'll drop that to the bottom of the hole, pull it up really quick, remove the water, do it again until they think they've removed all the water from the well. Again, they'll let it set for a period of time, and then they'll do that again and determine again how many gallons a minute they got or recovered or recharged. Not an accurate assessment. You really need a pump test done. My recommendation is you have a pump contractor come up to the property once the well is done, finished, screens, filter packed, all the pieces and parts, it's been developed, all those things have been accomplished, and you get a pump contractor come up, drop a pump into the well, and have an assessment done on the yield. They'll do a drawdown assessment, so they'll start pumping on it really hard, hopefully, and then they'll measure where the static level it is. As that static level draws down, they'll let it draw down to a specific amount, a certain percentage, and they'll settle it out there, and they'll try to adjust the yield, and they'll run that, and that ultimately becomes a yield assessment. Then, with that good, proper yield or pump test, you can size the pump. Most wells have a pump dropped in, whatever's either common for the area or whatever the drilling contractor or contractors have available. Rarely are they sized properly post a pump test. So anyway, the yield assessment on a well log is typically not accurate. They're rough estimates. They're not required to be accurate, apparently, by most regulatory agencies. For more information about how we can help you, or if you'd like to take a look at your well report and tell you what we can, contact us at 800-251-2920, or go to Facebook and 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙖𝙦, message us, and let us know how we can help. All right, you guys have a good day.